Hi there. Welcome to Sunnyside Journals, December Dailies, Day 9. Today, actually, I think I'm going to try and get this one done on camera. And I don't think it's going to take very long because I sort of have part of it started by accident. So I will get what I have planned ready. My plan is... Where's a pen I can use? So for Barbara's list, although I'm including lots and lots, I'm sorry for the shadows. It's quite overcast here, so I've got my overhead light on. For Barbara's list, although I'm using a lot of copies of black and white family photos, I'm not checking it off every single time, but this will be the time that I use it to check off for a family photo that I'm going to put in it. So I'm going to check off family photo for Barbara at 49 Dragonflies list. And then for my list, today's entry for day 9 is going to be actually number 2 here. Gran Brown loved having the biggest present. So that is going to be my happy Christmas memory from growing up. And it involves my gran, who was my dad's mother. She was known as by Gran. Alrighty, and as I said, I already got started on sort of one the other day. Where is it? I put down a backing the other day. All right. Where are you? I put down some red scrapbook paper the other day. There it is. It was in the first one. I put this down the other day when I did Nana Hodgins' Mittens episode. And then I realized, let me put these away. Then I realized that I didn't need the whole page red because I was going to be putting the mitten pattern on. And I didn't want to waste all this beautiful red space. Oh, let's take that out for the time being. That's the little white Christmas story. I just figured I only needed a strip of it for Nana Hodgins' Mitten story. So I'm going to use it now because I'm going to talk about my memories of my grandmother, my Gran Brown. And this is a picture of her. It's not a very good one. And this is probably one of my Christmas mornings that I remember laughing the hardest. And that's the only photo we have. And you could see it didn't even come out very well. The photo is quite damaged. It's from the 1960s. There was no year on it on the picture. But yeah, I'll explain that in a minute. But we laughed so hard that we cried. So I found this. I buy up packages of Christmas cards at thrift stores. They just throw them all into bags and you don't know what you're getting inside. It's a grab bag. And this was in it. And it's not really my kind of Christmas card, but I like the frame on it. But you know what? I was hoping those would match. And they don't match. I wonder if I will still need to use a different side because that looks much nicer on a little softer background. All right, hold on, because I'm going to take this front off the back. So I'm going to pause you. Okay, so I cut the cover off from the back of the card. So first thing I want to do is, while I'm thinking about it, ink that white paper core. Otherwise, I could glue it down and completely forget that I've done that, and then I'll see it after it's glued down. Alrighty. All right, and now I think what I'll do, so it's just not this raw background, is I'm going to put some vintage, well, I don't know if it's vintage, but it certainly looks vintage, wrapping paper. I got it at one of my thrift stores. They didn't do a very good job because when they rolled it up, they used Scotch tape. There's some, I can feel it right there. So that ruins that area. And then there's more here. So that means I can at least use right here. So I'm going to have to do this an odd way. Let me feel for that Scotch tape. Where is it? There it is. All right. There's probably an easier way to do this, but, you know, we're talking about me here. All right, this is going to be tricky gluing this down. Oh, is that already, that edge is already got a sort of a scallop on it. And you know my dreaded scallop edge that I gave myself. Ugh. Ugh. All right, so let's see how wide I need to make this. Pencil, there we go. This is going to be awful trying to glue this down. But we can do it. We can do it. Now, I need a straight, oh, that is, no, I cut into that. That's not a straight edge. So I need to try and create a straight edge. There we go. And now I just cut off my pencil mark. So now I've got to remeasure. So if I put you there, and then oh no, I did have a little bit left. I didn't cut it all off, but there. All right. I'm trying to think ahead of time in my head how I'm going to glue this down. It's very thin. No, I still got to take some of that off. I'm just going to take a bit off because my cutting board is just... Is that going to give me enough? That is. Okay, I can just take that off. That's better. And now I can put this on a line so that I know I have a 90-degree angle. I hope what I'm doing makes sense to you. If you've got one of these cutting boards, you'll know what I'm doing because I'm trying to just create right angles with my cuts so that eventually, you know, as long as you start with one right angle, you can just keep going around your page and you'll end up with a square or a rectangle. All right, so let's see. And I cut the wrong one because I needed to cut that little one, not the one I cut. I need a coffee, I think. Now, have I got that on that line? I do. Let's try again, shall we? There we go. That's better. So So that can go down like that. And I need it to be, I wonder if I should leave it long, and that will give me room in case I don't land it properly. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take a bit off so it's not too bulky while I'm trying to glue. And then I think I may attempt to use my spray glue and see if I can do this. Oh, that's the page on the other side. Okay. So I want that sort of there. You know what? It's still going to, I don't want the yellow to show. I'm going to get some, I want some distress ink in green because I want that to be camouflaged a bit. There we go. Okay. This will make sense in a second. So this is just green distress ink. What color? Mowed Lawn. I don't use colored distress ink very often. I don't want it to show on that side because that's supposed to be like a white winter wonderland. So I'm sort of flicking up so I don't round it around that corner. Hope that makes sense to you. And then this will be green and maybe a little camouflaged because it's going to show. I don't want to take that wrapping paper right to that fold because I really don't want to have to bulk up my folds. The signature will just lie nicer if the folds aren't bulked up. If you're wondering what's going on there, because I don't use these colored distress inks very often, I only have 4 of them. So I used 2 makeup sponges, and for one side's green, one side's blue, and then the other one's, I think it's pink and purple. Can't remember the other colors. Yeah, I think it's pink and purple. So I just, that way I only have to have 1 sponge laying around for 2 colors. There. That's good. And now I'll show you why I did that in case you're still, in case it's still a mystery to you. What on earth is she doing? That way when I glue this down, do you see what I mean? Now that's green and it will sort of camouflage a little into the back. In fact, I may cut a scallop down that side too. No, I'm just going to glue it. Now let me try and unroll this and just encourage it. Encourage it to lay flat. I'm using my other phone today, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on my timer without setting a timer. So if I get cut off, it's because I talked too much. There, that's a little better. I talked too much and talked right through the ending of my phone, what my phone will allow. All right, I'm going to put some spray glue on this and I will be right back. So hold on. Okay, so that is glued down and I was relieved to see, for a split second I thought, oh, did I glue it down upside down? And you know what? If I did, it was going to stay upside down. But fortunately, the ornaments are hanging in the right direction for it to go upright in the book. Now, I'm just going to trim this off. You go there. There we go. And my overhead light might help. Or if it's just way too bright. It's just if I work on anything shiny. Now there's double shadows. Oof. No. Nope. I'm not talking very loud. If you've noticed, why is she whispering? My husband's still asleep, and I don't want to wake him up. And I know I am just a naturally loud person. If you haven't already figured that out, I'm loud. In fact, in his old age, my father, and actually my father-in-law as well, were very grateful for my loud voice. They had no problem hearing me. Other people, they had trouble hearing by the end. But me, my father used to say to my mother, I can hear her so lovely and clear. Why can't you speak like Catherine? I said, Dad, it's because I'm a loudmouth. I project. Oh, gosh. There we go. Okay, I love this. It's a nice vintage paper. Gran will be happy that she's on a page with pretty paper. She liked pretty things. Gran was a lot of fun to have at a party. She loved a party. And her birthday was on New Year's Eve, which, you know what? Mother Nature could not have picked a better day for her to be born, because she said it meant that there was always a party on her birthday because it was New Year's Eve. She loved the attention of gentlemen. Usually had male friends. Not that she was very, very much in love with my granddad. And then after granddad died, she did have a gentleman friend, but they were never more than friends. They were, I shouldn't say that. I don't know her private life, but they always seemed to be, oh, I'm using the wrong thing. Goodness. I'm talking too much. Anyhow, she loved the company of gentlemen. And she just loved a reason to get dressed up in pretty outfits and earrings and necklaces and high heels. That feels loose. I felt that move when I pressed on it. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to remove this little picture out of this window. And I'm just going to do it like this. And you know what? I may turn my light on for it, because that shadow is very hard on my eyes right now. So I'm going to go to there, and then bear with me. All right. I don't think that went through. There we go. Now, how is that for shiny? That's not too bad, I hope. Yeah, so Gran, she was right out of London. She was born in 1896. She came here to Canada, to Toronto. Gosh, I think she was about 13. I'd have to check my records, but her father moved his large family to Toronto because work was hard to find. And so over they all came. And she never went back again. She never made it back to England. Many of her, she had a big family. I believe 9 brothers and sisters. Again, I'd have to check. I'd have to start counting all the sisters and brothers. But many of her siblings did go back for visits, and her parents certainly went back for a visit, but she never went back. But she always just spoke adoringly of her home country. It was very much, even though she was a young lady when she got here and lived most of her life in Canada, if you asked her where home was, it was England. She grew up in an era where she was blind in one eye, and it made learning difficult for her. And back then, if children weren't succeeding in school, they just got sent home and said, don't bring your child back. There weren't programs to help such students. So she got a few years of education, but not many. She struggled with reading and writing her whole life. And it didn't help that she only had vision in one eye, and the other eye that worked was poor vision. She still needed glasses anyways. But she was a lot of fun. And she ended up with a nice family and meeting a nice guy. She had a son and a daughter. And she's the reason I had twins, because she also had twins. My dad is a twin. And fraternal twins, that's thanks to the mom. Fraternal twins, which is what is in our family, not identical. And that's what my girls are too, fraternal. Now, you know what? This is taking up a lot of my time. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to pause and finish it. So just hold on there. Okay, there we go. I'm going to turn this lamp off now, and that's a little easier, and I can put the glass out of the way. And that will also reduce some shine. So yeah, so Gran, there she is. Hey, Gran. In addition to being, enjoying being the center of attention and the life of every party, she loved at Christmas if the biggest present under the tree was for her. And when we'd get up in the morning, and you know that feeling when you walk into the room and everyone goes, ah, at all the presents everywhere. Well, nothing made Gran happier than if the biggest one under the tree, and she'd look them all over to see. It was, I guess it was quite childish of her in a way, but she was very childlike. She'd look them all over, and she would be happy if it, if the biggest one was for her. Well, one year for Christmas, she needed a new kitchen garbage can. And my dad thought, what am I going to do? How am I going to wrap this so that it's the biggest present under the tree? And he just couldn't, because that might have been the year I got a bike, and there was just no way he was going to be able to make a garbage can bigger than a bike. And none of us kids minded. We actually loved that Gran got the biggest present under the tree, because the shrieks and the hooping and hollering over how big her present was made it so totally worth it. So my dad came up with the idea, and he wrapped her new kitchen garbage can to look like a rocket. In case you were wondering what this is, there's the rocket, the things that stick out at the base of the rocket. And then he hung it from the ceiling so that her present was hanging from the ceiling and pointing up towards the sky, and it was a rocket going off into space. And well, that was the best Christmas ever for Gran. The year she got the garbage can rocket for Christmas. Oh, God. And of course, we loved it too. So you can see now what it is I think I'm going to do is I want to be able to put her picture in there, and then we can take it out, and I'll write the story of Gran and the Christmas rocket on the back. I'm trying to decide whether it should go in the top. I'm thinking Oh, wait, I'd better put, this is the opening side. So I'm thinking it needs to go in and out through the side, and I'll put a tab on it. But I still have these spaces here. Hold on. Okay, I found this. I was trying to think of what I had that was kind of Christmassy, but kind of loud, because that was my Gran. The brighter, the better. And maybe if I put a bit of that down, just the gold part, and then a card, a Christmas tag that would just say to Gran from Santa. I think that's what I want. And look at me, I'm quickly running out of time. So I want that centered. And I'm going to need one for the top as well. Let's see, let's use you. Yeah, Gran was quite a character. By the end of her life, she had very painful bunions on her feet. And any of you who've seen bunions, they can deform your feet horribly, and they can be very painful. And for whatever reason, she opted not to get them fixed. And bunions on your big toe side grow out the side, and they can really deform your feet. They make wearing shoes very painful. Well, my Gran figured out that her shoes were more comfortable once she had developed bunions. They were more comfortable if she wore them on the wrong feet. And she did. You know what? They felt better, and she could get out there on the dance floor and dance in her shoes on the wrong feet, and people would come up to us and say, her name was Beatrice, but they called her B. And they'd come up and they'd say, we think B has her shoes on the wrong feet, because she also did develop, back then they said that you had senile dementia. We'll never know whether, I don't think it was Alzheimer's. Now that I know with my mother, there really is a difference. It's not all Alzheimer's. There is a difference in the different kinds of dementia. And I have many, many memories of Gran because she lived with us at the end. Anyhow, they'd say, B has her shoes on the wrong feet. And they meant well, because they thought maybe she had made an error getting herself dressed in the morning. And we'd say, no, they're more comfortable that way. And she'd be walking around, and of course her feet looked even more duck-footed because the bunions made them look turned out, and then having her shoes on the wrong feet made them look turned out as well. Fortunately, she had a very good attitude and just lived life to the fullest. Yeah, I think that's going to look pretty, and I don't think I'm going to have time to finish this. So you know what? I may pause, get it all in place, and then I can show you here rather than saying, oh, I'll post it on Instagram. It's so much easier to watch it here because I'm looking at my clock here, and I'm at 28 minutes. So hold on while I cut and paste and stuff. Hold on. Okay, I did it. I got it done. So what I did was I did some of the gold doily across the top, but I layered those leaves down over the Merry Christmas, and then I put some down at the bottom, and I put those leaves up and trimmed them. And now what I want to do is I just want to put a little tag that says for Gran from Santa. Hold on. Let's see here. I hope this works. For Gran from Santa. And then I'm going to stick it right there. I think I want to make it look like a tag. There we go. Let's pick. I don't think I have red. I don't think I have red. I have pinks. Oh, I got a green one there. Let's do a green one. Just to make it a little more 3D. I think Gran would have loved her page in my book because it's got gold and it sparkles and she's the center of attention. Her and her kitchen garbage can rocket. She would have loved everything about it except, knowing Gran, she probably would have liked if I could have found a way to make this page bigger so that it was the biggest page in the book and stuck out further than the rest of the pages. Then I think Gran really, really would have been happy. But I do think she would have loved this. And I'm sure she's smiling down somewhere. She's got 2 granddaughters named after her. And because her name was Beatrice Violet, and she's got a granddaughter name with the middle name Violet, and then she's got great-grandchildren. Yeah, pardon me, I've got the numbers wrong. 1 granddaughter named after her, and then great-grandchildren. And one has the name Violet, and one has the name Beatrice in their names. So that's it. And see how this is like a little window. And then I'm going to write just a quick little story about how Gran Brown always liked to have the biggest gift. And one year, when Papa Brown couldn't figure out how to make it bigger, he made it wonderful by hanging it from the ceiling like a rocket. Thanks for joining me today, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you stay safe and healthy. Take care, and we'll talk tomorrow. Bye.